cargo shorts. Don't leave home without them. So this video was initially going to be about a lawsuit that I had read about quite a long time ago. I recently did some digging and found out that it actually wasn't real. That supposed lawsuit was Red Hot Chili Peppers frontman Anthony Kiedis suing Faith No More's frontman Mike Patton. And I remembered it saying that the lawsuit was about Anthony Kiedis claiming that Mike Patton was stealing his vocal performance style. And I guess that was just bullshit. That was just a rumor somebody made up. Now, the rumor was started, however, because Anthony Kiedis has had a previously long-standing feud with Mike Patton. As I understand it, however, they have since squashed the beef. But it got me thinking of some other silly feuds that I remember just from like reading Wikipedia articles and whatnot growing up, and also just from just learning from digging through forums and other online sources. Whatever nooks and corners of the internet weren't blocked by my school's firewall, I would weasel my way into. So I'm gonna start this one off with probably the most like, what the fuck, I didn't know that was a thing, was a feud that I have on this little list I made. Story time, bitch! This one I did not learn about initially from anything I read online. Rather, it was from when me and my brother would go to my brother's friend's house to use their internet to download songs from LimeWire and FrostWire and ShareBear and other such peer-to-peer downloading services. Now, internet speeds were kind of dog shit at the time, especially in the neighborhood I lived in, because it's never really been the pinnacle of ultra-fast internet speeds or anything like that. It's some bumfuck Hickville piece of shit town that nobody cares about. And amongst the many songs that we would eventually download were a lot of Insane Clown Posse songs, because we would listen to a lot of Insane Clown Posse. To make things perfectly clear, I am not a juggalo. I've never been to a gathering. I've never done like the face paint shit, or like had any of like the Hatchet Man jewelry or shirts or anything like that. We just like to listen to the music. We just think their music is kind of funny and entertaining to listen to. I would be wanting to not acknowledge, however, that juggalos are actually some of the coolest people you'll meet. Across all the schools I went to, throughout all the years that I went to school, juggalos were always the super fucking nicest, chillest, down-to-earth people. They were also one of the very few people who had my back whenever I would get bullied and was given a hard time for my weight. Like, usually once things had settled down, like, you know, they'd come walking over, they'd be like, hey man, you want us to fuck those guys up for you? We'll fucking do it. Just give us the word. And I would always be like, no, I don't want, I don't want nobody getting fucking like killed or nothing on my behalf. It's no big deal. They'd be like, respect, man, respect. But you know what? If you ever change your mind, just fucking let us know, and we'll fucking, oh God, we'll fucking stomp the shit out of him, for he's so good. I swear on God. Anyways, I digress too much. So one of the many songs that we downloaded was this extremely childish and homophobic parody diss track that ICP made of Eminem's Slim Shady song. I don't know. I don't know what the name of the song is. I'm sorry. It was called Slim Anus.
Hi, my name is what? My name is Slim Anus. Hi, my name is what? My name is the Fudge Packer.
And the lyrics were changed to be about how he likes, taking it in the butt, and how he likes to, drink sperm and semen. Like, it's extremely problematic. Do not get me wrong. It's very problematic. It's funny for the wrong reason. And it prompted me to do reading to kind of like look more into it. Some of you, like, you know, more knowledgeable hip-hop heads about this kind of thing will, you know, please feel free to elaborate more in the comments if you actually know more about this. If I recall correctly, it was because one of the members of ICP and Eminem were out in the same area at the same time, and this is way early in their careers, like back when they were like still putting out demos. I think Eminem had put a flyer over an ICP flyer, which may have very well have been done, you know, without malice. And when the member of ICP went to approach him to be like, you know, hey, don't put your flyer over my shit, Eminem offered him fucking mixtape. He was like, hey man, you want to check out my mixtape? After he may have very potentially disrespected this person on accident, by just total mistake, but this man doesn't know that, so he's just like, oh fucking hell no, it's fucking, hey man, it's fucking on, man, we're gonna fucking go get it, man. He just fucking stomps over to Eminem all fucking huffing and puffing and ready to fucking blow the house down, and right as he like breathes in to say something, he goes, hey man, check out my mixtape please. And he was like, oh, fucking hell no. And like just went off on him. And I think that prompted Eminem to make a diss track about them. Because he was like, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do? And then ICP made their response diss. You want to diss us? You want to diss Insane Clown Posse and Twisted?
Brother, my brother, tell me what are we fighting for?
This is one that I actually remember watched develop in real time. So back in the early 2010s, the band Queensryche was kind of in a bit of a state of inner turmoil. There was quite a lot of friction building up between Geoff Tate, their singer and frontman, and the other members of the band, which, tale as old as time, you know, what can I say? And so at one time in the early 2010s, the band members, without the presence of their singer Geoff Tate, had a meeting where they decided unanimously to fire a couple of Geoff Tate's relatives who were working like within the management of their band and their touring and everything, and their merchandising. And this then prompted Tate to physically assault his band members during their next show after that happened, and he continued to be disruptive for their next few live shows. So the band members, without Geoff Tate, again, got together, and they decided. So the band members decided to hold a meeting, which Geoff Tate stormed out of before they were done. And when he stormed out, they all, you know, again, unanimously decided to kick Geoff Tate out of the band. So the members without Tate moved forward and continued to operate under the name Queensryche, because they were like, it's our band, you know, we're the majority band, it's ours. So the abridged version is they found a new singer named Todd Latore. Latore? I'm actually not sure how it's pronounced. I'll just go with Latore because that sounds like it sounds like the Todd De La Torre? De La Torre? Torre? Unsure how it's pronounced. I'll just call him De La Torre. They hit it off with him, and they continued to tour and perform under Queensryche and even write new songs with this new singer as Queensryche. During this time, however, Geoff Tate was not fucking having it. So him and his wife filed a lawsuit against the former members, along with an injunction to prevent both parties from using the name Queensryche. The judge overseeing the case, though, struck down Tate's injunction but he also struck down the other band members' counter injunction. And so, in essence, both groups were allowed to use the name Queensryche however they wanted without the ability to infringe on the rights of the other party to use the name Queensryche in any way they want. So for 2 years, there were 2 bands named Queensryche. One fronted by their original singer, Geoff Tate, and then the other consisting of the other members with the new singer. Both bands toured, and both bands released an album during this time. And so for all intents and purposes, both Queensryche bands were considered to be the same entity in essence. Imagine, if you will, when Ozzy left Sabbath and he went out and recruited Randy Rhoads and, all the other members for his solo project. And he was like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna be fucking Sabbath. Someone came into my room and they took my Sabbath songs from my room. And then the former members with Dio were like, fuck you, we're still gonna be Black Sabbath, but fucking try to stop us. And then Ozzy sued and Sabbath countersued and they both got blocked. And in other words, this would be an alternate timeline in which Bark at the Moon would have been a Sabbath album and not an Ozzy album. Doesn't that kind of fuck with your head a little bit? After 2 years, it was eventually settled with the former members being given the exclusive right to the name Queensryche and Geoff Tate essentially being told to go fuck himself. Good riddance, too. He was kind of a fucking baby.
Evil child within the man, doing evil while he can.
This one's one of my favorite ones, and I know that if any of the ones I talk about bring out the most basement-dwelling, smelly nerd losers, it's probably going to be this one. There's a lot of these really weird fallen fans of Metallica online who at any given opportunity will just talk about how much they used to love Metallica and how much they suck now and how they're like dog shit. And it's like something they do regularly. And these people will like latch on to Dave Mustaine and Megadeth and they'll fucking scream and maul and insist, no, Megadeth is better than Metallica. Metallica are sellouts. Fuck Metallica. These were also the people, I assume, who went out and bought Metallica albums and then stomped on them and smashed them during the Napster controversy. And it's like, cool, dude, you literally just fucking gave them money. What a fucking own. Haha, I'm gonna give you money. That ought to fucking show you. Now, they latch on to Dave Mustaine and Megadeth because of his former extremely rocky relationship with his former band member. Way back in the early 80s, back in 81, I think it was, James Hetfield answered a newspaper ad that was put out by Lars Ulrich looking to start a band. And this is essentially where Metallica started. They would then go on to recruit 2 more members, guitarist Dave Mustaine and bassist Ron McGovney. Now, Dave Mustaine has always been an insane guitarist, probably one of the all-time greats, unironically. He even co-wrote what would become Four Horsemen, which appears on Metallica's debut album, Kill 'Em All, along with several other songs across their first 2 albums, which had songwriting credits for Mustaine. Now, from the start, Dave was a bit of a fucking asshole. If I recall correctly, I think when they first auditioned him, they were kind of like talking amongst each other for about like half an hour, and then Dave got really impatient and like busted in and screamed, "Well, did I get the fucking gig or not?" So from the start, he had a bit of an overly cocky attitude. And again, not that it was necessarily undeserved. He is an extremely talented guitarist, but no amount of guitar talent can justify pouring a beer over your band members' instruments and equipment, getting blackout drunk and starting fucking fist fights. And then he drove away Ron McGovney because one night they were hanging out, I'm not exactly sure where, I'm gonna assume it was probably Dave Mustaine's residence, because Dave took his cat and put it on Ron McGovney's bass, and it ended up scratching the fuck out of it. And that was literally the last straw for Ron, because he was like, fuck this, I'm out of here, fuck you guys, good luck. And he fucking stormed off. This is when they would eventually discover bassist Cliff Burton, who would become one of the essential members to the group in their early career. In terms of the many contributions and his extremely intense creative passion. And it was during this time that they wrote most of what would eventually become some of their more popular and legendary hits later on down the line, including the song Mechanics, which would later become the Four Horsemen. See, during this time, James, Lars, and I think Cliff, I'm actually not too sure how involved he was in this decision. They decided they too had enough of Dave's bullshit and that it was his time to fucking go. Now, here's the part where you can kind of understand why Dave would be a little bit sour. Because behind the scenes, they recruited a replacement for Dave. That replacement was Kirk Hammett, who has been their lead guitarist ever since their debut record. Now, the way they fired Dave, they ended up flying to New York to sign their record contract with Elektra Records. And if I remember the story correctly, right before they walked into the office doors, James and Lars turned around to face Dave, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, Dave, you're out of the band. Here's some money for a bus ticket. Go fuck yourself." And they walked in and signed that contract without Dave. And ye old legends have it that very long bus ride home to San Francisco, he started writing lyrics to what would become some songs that would appear on Megadeth's first record. And for a long, long time, Dave fucking hated these motherfuckers, dude. Since he had partial writing credits for a lot of the songs that Metallica had credits for as well, Dave was essentially like, all right, I'm gonna do those songs too. Fuck you. And so specifically the song Mechanics, Dave wrote the lyrics to and helped write the main riffs and melodies. But James and Lars also helped write the actual music and instrumental elements. And so what they ended up doing instead was slowing the song down a little bit, changed the lyrics, and added a bridge, and bing, bang, bibbity, bap. You got the Four Horsemen. And I'm gonna be honest, it's better than Mechanics. Fucking fight me. Fucking meet me underneath the bleachers and bring your best fucking Yu-Gi-Oh deck. They did patch things up some time ago, around the time of Metallica's 30th anniversary, if I recall. But goddamn if it doesn't make for good fucking storytelling. Hey, RJ of the future here. I ended up running out of space on my phone when recording the next section, and I did not notice until 5 minutes after the memory ran out. So I think I will just leave that one in my pocket for like a follow-up video about more feuds that I potentially learn about. So yeah, stick around for more.